Okay. So, what I wanted to ask you was, this is kind of like, it applies a bit to training, applies a bit to diet. One thing that I've tended to find myself saying to people is like, don't worry about it, that's like too little to worry about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, people's tendency to get bogged down in the little things at the expense of...
Like, should you drink, can I drink a Diet Coke?
Yeah, or should I sip my BCAAs, or should I slam my BCAAs back?
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
just
or-
little shit that doesn't mean a
So-
lot. So, as far as training goes, find something that floats your boat.
Yeah.
So whether you like high volume or lower volume, higher intensity work,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. So, as long as it floats your boat and you can, it's not about what can I get away with. It's still about working hard.
Yeah.
But if you're going into the gym enthused about something,
Yeah.
that you want to do 50 sets of squats.
Yeah.
Or you want to,
Yeah,
do you know
true,
what I mean?
yeah.
So you're going to put the effort into it.
Because...
So do that and do it
Yeah,
most
yeah.
of the time. It's not to say don't try anything different,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
do what you like to do and that you're going to put all the effort into most of
I
the
suppose
time.
it's like the gap between something that's perfect and effective is really big.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? But like effective practice and perfect practice are like miles apart from each other. But the closer you get to perfect, it's like that diminishing returns, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's about, you say, over the years that we've
Yeah.
been doing this, so the people who, we've consistently seen it, the people who get the
Yeah.
best results are the people who work the hardest.
Yeah.
And then, but you still get that thing of people will say, oh, well, what about those with genetics? Like,
Yeah.
genetics can take you so far, I agree, and probably fairly far in some cases, but even those people, to get to the very top,
Yeah.
they've still got to put the fucking work in.
Yeah.
So
But-
it's all about getting people to work harder. So once you find what floats your boat as far as training
Yeah.
goes, we'll do that. Do it consistently, and you'll get somewhere.
Yeah, if you just consistently work hard and follow a way of eating that's not ridiculous, like you'll be good. you know?
with diet.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care essentially what the science says, and we've both done our sports science degrees. So on paper it's the same with training and diet. It could look the best thing.
Yeah.
So
If you
whether
can't-
somebody eats a lot of carbs or no carbs, I don't really care. As long as they stick to something.
Stick to something, yeah. And the thing is as well, it's because, say something like having a Diet Coke, there's people who say that's really bad, but if the Diet Coke stops them having...
Exactly.
fucking-
So if you like sweet things,
Yeah.
for example, well, having that Diet Coke is going to give you that satisfaction of having something sweet.
Yeah.
But it's not going to have an impact. Could it impact your blood sugar levels? Maybe, because something sweet could raise your insulin levels. But then if there's no carbs there, for argument's sake, well, your blood sugar will actually go lower than what it was before. So it's irrelevant.
But as well, it's that thing of, okay, they might bloat you a little bit or make you like hold a bit of water, and it's like, if you're a week out from a show, there's a time and place to be perfect.
Yes.
But it's like that thing of, you can't necessarily be perfect all the time, so don't stress if...
And that, right, you've hit the nail on the head there. Stress will have the biggest... So, especially in that last week before a show, stress will have the biggest impact on a physique. So it's like, well, don't stress about anything. And I've seen it consistently again with the pros. They're so much more relaxed about everything.
True.
So the moment you are more relaxed, it shows in your physique.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing is, say if you have something that you say you can stick to for years on end, you'll get, because the goal isn't necessarily just to get there, it's to stay there. So say you have like your ideal physique or the progress you're making, say there's a way here that you can get there in 4 weeks, but in 8 weeks you'll be right back to where you started. That's not really that's not the goal. Whereas if it's another way that takes you 10 weeks but you stay there, do you get what I mean? If you stay there, that's a much better approach.
Yeah, that short-term fix, as you say, it can get you fantastic results, but can you maintain it in the long term? Well, probably not. And which will give you the better results And you know, will be the long-term approach always. Yeah, and it's all about then it's patience. Be patient.
But it's probably like that same thing if people see people who are in tremendous shape and they're like, well, I have 2 arms and a chest and a little bit of abs, so
there,
they got there in this week. Why can't I? And it's that like pressure to sort of get there as quick as you can. Whereas something like, right, no, actually, just chill out. This might take a year.
Yeah,
or 2
longer.
Or forever. It's probably like disheartening. But if you go in there with like this is 30-day transformation type.
And this is the thing. So that's where you have to really enjoy training for training's sake.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then there's always that pressure of, well, I've been doing this for 12 weeks and nothing's happened. True. But if you just enjoy the process of training hard, pushing yourself to the limits, irrespective of what you're going to look like, then
but as well, it's there are going to be days where you don't particularly feel like training or even particularly a certain body part or eating that food, blah blah blah. But it's like, as long as you overall enjoy it, do you know what I mean? It's like, there are days where you don't feel like training, but if you don't feel like training 365 days in a row, it's like, well, fucking fix your training.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. You know, there's always going to be that odd time where you've had a shit night's sleep, you haven't eaten, there's a bit of outside stress that's going to affect the training session. But overall, you should be looking forward to training because that's what you like to do. And again, you know, if you're talking about nutrition, so one shit meal, you know, say for argument's sake, you're eating 6 meals a day. You know, whether you should or not is a different story. But that's 42 meals a week.
Yeah.
So if you have one meal that's not so good, out of 42, that's only a small percentage.
Yeah, it's not that. Well, I've had that one, whatever, sandwich that wasn't on my.
Yeah, well, but then what happens
I'm just going to eat shit for the rest of the day.
Exactly. It's just that little blip will turn into, well, I've done that, so fuck it, I may as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing. That's how you can get into that rep with training. Oh, well, I missed that training session. That was shit. And then before you know it, I haven't trained for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Well, then maybe you don't really enjoy training then.
Yeah, and it depends on what, like, where you want to be as well. If you're just doing it for, say, like, the everyday being in shape, being healthy type of thing versus, like, say, going into a show. Because I suppose going into a show, there's that thing of, well, you're not going to feel like it, but you've just got to do that day because
There's always that, but if you are prepping for a show, you've still got to enjoy the process. There's 100%. Days where it's going to get hard.
Well, you know, you should still enjoy the process, but there are still going to be days where it's like, fuck this.
Yeah, well, you've got to do it because you've got your goal. Yeah, but that's the way I say it. People are always going to get those days, but on the whole, if you enjoy it, great. But if you're one of those people who literally moans every day their prep, well, maybe it's not for you, don't do it.
Or even change the way you are doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's normally something. There's always more than one way to do things.
Oh, 100%.
So there's some ways of dieting that you just don't enjoy or don't agree with you necessarily. So like you find them really fucking hard. Whereas then there's other ways, and you're like, oh no, I can do this. Like
exactly.
It's fine.
Yeah, 100%. So you know, and that's it. So with training and with diet, it's basically find what floats your boat.
Yeah.
And stick to it for a long period of time. And that's the thing. But there are days when that you will need to change things depending on what's happening in your life, and you know.
It sounds dumb. There's a fine line between sort of cleverly backing off and just finding an excuse.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? There's a fine line between, right, I'm actually fucked, like it's better for me to take this day off and come back tomorrow and do it versus like I'm just not gonna do that because it's like why, and like you find the way to justify it to yourself, but realistically you just don't fancy it.
Do
you know what I mean? And there is that like fine line between the two. So I guess you almost need to and I think this comes over time as well, because no one's gonna be like, right, the first time you know the first sort of time you experience this dip in motivation, you're gonna know the difference between, right, am I just doing this out of like actually being sensible, or am I doing it out of being a bit lazy? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You get that over time, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. So, and that's the thing we say to people all the time, that, you know, they have those dips in motivation, or, you know, they feel a bit shitty when they're on their diet, but we always say to them, look, we're not belittling what you say, but we've heard it 1,000 times before, only to make them realise, well, it's normal. Everybody goes through these things, and when you realise, oh shit, well, everybody, and I don't care who it is. Yeah. I've been backstage with the world's best bodybuilders, and they still need that bit of recognition from their coach. Yeah. It's like, have a look at this, or do I look okay? Yeah, you look fucking fantastic. Yeah. But they still need it. So the very top people in the world, probably more so, are a little bit more, sometimes can be more insecure. Yeah. Than people lower down the competitive ladder. So, but all we say is, look, it's just normal. Everybody feels like that, and that makes them sometimes think, oh well, yeah, that's normal. I should be feeling like this. Yeah. So,
there's no necessarily like. It's not saying, right, we'll just suffer through it, deal with it. Like, there is, if it is. Yeah. That, you know, if you are doing something that's bad and you're finding it genuinely really hard, like, there's normally a better way to do things.
Yes. So if somebody is suffering, it might be, if there's that bit of a dip in motivation, it's like, okay, look, you can do this, crack on. But if they're suffering for whatever reason and not in a good way, there could be something wrong with what they're doing, so change it. Yeah. You know, it isn't like, oh, well, just suck it up and get on with it. There's always an alternative.
Yeah, true.
So it's recognising the difference between that. You know, there's definitely more than one way to skin a cat. Yeah. So, and that's not saying, oh, you change things every 2 weeks. Yeah. It's like, you've got to recognise then when it's becoming an issue for somebody and then they can't carry on. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, no problem. Well, we can change it. Yeah, easy. Or you know, even if it's like, oh, do you know what? I can't eat another piece of fucking chicken. Yeah, it's just, you know. Well, there's always an alternative.
There's always something.
It's easy to go, oh, just suck it up, crack on with it. Or I can't do 2 hours of cardio. Yeah, there's different ways of doing it. You know, I mean,
and the thing is as well is, I think you probably, because I think when people do a show, probably the tendency to go too far the other way, and the life comes about the show type of thing. Like, you probably see that a lot in people. But then to flip that on its head and say you're not really doing it for anything other than to feel a bit better, look a bit better, that type of thing. People probably think, well, I can't do this because, you know, I have kids, or I've, you know, do you get what I mean? It's like people struggling to like fit it around their life. Do you get what I mean? So it's that like thinking that you need to be perfect.
Yeah, and is anybody perfect? Probably not.
Well, no, but like, so like, you know, you see people, it's like, oh, well, you know, like, so-and-so like wants to go out for food. It's like, well, you can still do that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just because you have to go out for food doesn't mean you have to fuck everything up for the rest of the week.
No. Or you either make a good choice when you go out for food. I mean, usually you can do those things these days, but if not, as we said, that one meal out of 42 isn't going to make that much difference.
Yeah, that's the thing, is just because, oh, well, I'm going out for food tonight, that's not a reason to fuck everything else up that day.
But if you're, like, you can prep and be relatively normal. You know, it doesn't have to take over your life. Don't get me wrong, I've done it. Like, you know, first few years of competing, it was like, blinkers were on, and nothing else mattered apart from the show, and then you'd have to deal with the aftermath afterwards. Almost.
True.
Not that I was ever that bad, but then really
you see it, don't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. But then my last few shows, you know, when I did Europeans and World Championships, it was like, one, it was probably a case of one, being more experienced, two, being older, but what I found, like, I remember when Lisa had a look at me, like, a few weeks out from the last World Championships that I did, and she was shaking her head, and I was like, shit, what's wrong? And she was like, well, you're the best you've ever looked. And I was like, yeah, what's wrong with that? I was like, well, you're going to do another show. That
Yeah,
means,
yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but I didn't. But then I haven't. But I was probably in the best shape that I'd been in at that point.
Yeah.
But I was much more relaxed about it. But, you get to the realisation that my training was just as hard as it ever was. My diet was just as good. And then apart from that, I just got on with life. So then, because I didn't have those blinkers on, I wasn't putting that stress on myself all the time. So I was just that much more relaxed about it. And the results actually came better.
And I think there's that thing of like almost like the mental like exhaustion to it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, say if you have a song you really like, but you have to listen to it 10,000 times, or you probably fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Whereas, so you train, cool, you do cardio and you prep your food and you eat food, but then the other
24 hours, exactly.
Whatever, like 21 at a minimum is like, say you just, end of the day you have nothing to do, you have an hour free. It's like, you don't have to read about bodybuilding or watch something about bodybuilding.
And then that's the problem people will, they're doing their cardio watching fucking motivational bodybuilding videos, and it's like, fuck, just, get on with your job, your business,
or even just
do other shit.
Just have something else.
Exactly.
Because
do your DIY around the house.
Sometimes it's things that take your mind off
and
it.
Just because you're not constantly thinking about it doesn't mean you're doing the right. As long as you say you're doing your training, you're maintaining your diet. Well, how is that going to impact your fucking physique? Well, it's not.
Unless you're like physically just put in lots of ice cream in your mouth, like you'll be alright.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like
that's right.
That the difference in there between.
But I do believe that puts a lot less strain on you.
Yeah.
And it just shows in your physique.
100%.
So it's, I try and get people to learn from like my not mistakes, but that's just what I learned.
That you learn over time.
So then, if I can get somebody to do that earlier than I did, well, great.
But it's like, even like I've never done a show or anything, but like, at first you think, right, there's like the foods you eat to diet, and you eat those all the time, and then like, say, there's going to come a point where you eat something that's off your plan or whatever, and it's like, oh shit, I haven't gained 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Nothing's happened. Alright,
exactly.
It's fine. And there's just that difference. Yeah, if you ate nothing but fucking pizza all day, every day, which I've done before. But,
for how long?
Like a week when I was away. But, that's not the best. But, if you just have your meal, like, once in a while and just not let it, fuck your training or, eat bad constantly. It's like, it's okay. Do you know what I mean? And I think you sort of know that over time.
But even, God, remember your mother saying to me, it was like the year I won...
Yeah, so full disclaimer, when you said Lisa earlier, you meant Mum, didn't you?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, well, yes. I'm just... I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, but she's not everyone's mum.
No, true.
Just mine and my son-in-laws.
So, but like literally 4 days before I won the overall Welsh, it was like, well, you've got to eat something, because, it's just, you carry on as you are, it's going to have a negative impact.
Yeah.
So literally 4 days before I won the show, I was having a shitload of chocolate. Would I tell everybody to do that? Well, no.
Yeah.
But it's just...
So what you're saying is, it was in that context, it was right to do that.
Context is everything.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, so, and that's, so, and this is the thing, where people say, oh, well, so-and-so's eats like that, or so-and-so trains like that. Yeah, but you don't know the context in which they're doing it.
That's the thing, it's like, I think one of the biggest things is like, oh, well, they diet and they can eat this. It's like, yeah, but they might just be a naturally slightly hyperactive person, or they might have a naturally active job, or they might just tolerate that well. It's like, just because they can doesn't mean you can. There's also people who need to diet on less food.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the thing as well, of like, hunger when you diet is probably not that much down to how much food you actually eat. It can give you a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more like leeway on certain things, but to your body, you're still eating the amount that causes you to lose weight, so your body's going to become hungry.
Exactly.
You know, it's...
So whether someone says, oh, well, I eat 4,000 calories when I'm dieting.
Yeah, it's like they're still hungry because they're losing weight.
Exactly,
you know?
yeah.
It's like, there are also people who physically struggle to eat 2,000 in a day, do you know what I mean? So it's like, well... Yeah, just because they're on more food than you, they're probably still feeling that same...
Yeah, and by making that person force another 2,000 calories is on them is going to stress them out and have a negative impact.
Yeah, on top of just the fact of that's too much food for them.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So I think there's like that thing in there of... I think people confuse like total amount of food. It's like the food that's right for you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you know, do you know what I mean? It's still, okay, so-and-so might eat more food than you, but if you lose in body fat, like the appropriate amount, you're still probably feeling the same effects.
Yeah, and this is why it can't be, all right, well, this is how I've done it.
Therefore,
you've got to do it, this is going to work for you.
There are principles that apply to everyone, isn't it?
Yes.
So, you know, protein is good, you know, but... even the amount of protein or the amount of carbs, the amount of fats, it's, you know, there are like guidelines that you play within. You know, like no one has ever been like, I tell you what, I just can't get rid of this fat, and then they've suddenly tripled their food intake and like, oh, it's flying off me now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, no one's ever been like, I'm on 2,000 calories, I can't lose any weight. Right, we'll eat 6, and then they're like suddenly shredded in a week. You know, but there are those rules. I mean, in certain contexts, it could be right to up someone's food intake, and because context is everything. But you know, there are general rules that apply about protein intake and calorie intake and
so that's
fat intake and things like that. But realistically,
that's why if we give a diet to somebody, well, you've got to have that starting point.
Yeah.
And then almost dependent on results, and that's why again going back to don't change too many things at once.
Yeah, true. But I think that's the thing is I think you have to almost say to someone, and it is weird because it sounds almost like a cop out, doesn't it? It's like, right, I'm going to give you this. This is like my best judgment, but just be aware that like something might not happen straight away. Because if someone comes and they're like, oh, I just eat shit, or I eat kind of well, it's like, how much do you eat? And they're like, I don't really know. It's like, right, well, you need to find a baseline to work from. It's like, if this person is eating 4,000 calories a day and their weight's just stagnant, it's like, and then you suddenly put them on 2,000, it's like they'll probably experience a massive drop. But then if someone's eating healthy is like 1,500, you put them on 2,500, like it's not going to do anything. Do you know what I mean? It's that thing of, right, you need to get a baseline, don't you? And then go from there.
That's right. And you say people are going to respond differently with different foods and etc.
100%.
So
and don't get me wrong, I think, say if someone is just that, like eats that shit and just pounds fucking full fat Coke all day and blah blah blah, it's like, tiny changes on, it's not like they need to suddenly go on a chicken and broccoli diet, but you still need to know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's 26 and a half minutes.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, we'll end it there. I've run off screen. We've sworn probably quite a lot, probably me more than you. I've definitely said fuck a few times.
Yeah, but
that's all.
You've learned from the best.
Exactly. It's all part of the game, isn't it? Cool. Goodbye.
Cool.